Thea's moment of sentimentality evaporated and her irritation returned. "Well, I knew it was something like that. You'd better sit down. Petal might be hours. Now, I hope you don't mind if I get on with my cooking." In a moment of madness, I agreed to give my lodgers an evening meal. Every night. Not Fridays or Saturdays, as they're usually out or home for the weekend, but I always do a big meal on Sunday night. It was Sunday now, and Thea had been making a bolognese sauce for the lasagna on and off all day. She silently urged Petal to come back, before she felt obliged to invite her uncle to supper. The lasagna might stretch, but the salad and French bread wouldn't. "Please sit down, you're making the place look untidy." She didn't turn round to see if he realised she'd made a little joke. She was almost sure he had no sense of humour, but she didn't want it confirmed. Petal came back into the room, still talking. "Must go, see you, doll." Almost the moment she had disconnected, the house telephone went. "Oh," said Petal, breezily confident, "that'll be for me." Thea took a gulp of tea, wishing it were red wine. Now Ben was seated, she couldn't get past him to the fridge. "Would you mind very much passing me a bottle of milk and a lump of cheese? The fridge is just behind you." He had already seen her kitchen, so the inside of her fridge would be no shock to him, although Thea wouldn't let anyone very nervous look in it. The semi-skimmed in the door. He handed her the milk and the cheese. Petal was still on the phone, making arrangements. Soon Thea's other lodgers would begin to arrive back from their weekend haunts, and the kitchen would be more crowded and cooking would be more difficult. "I do wish Petal would get off the phone," said Ben and Thea together. They looked at each other, and Ben smiled. It transformed him. But as Petal hung up the phone at that moment, Thea looked away before she could work out why. When she looked back again, the smile had gone. "Oh, by the way, Thea," said Petal, "Aunt Molly's coming over later." "Oh, God, why?" Too late. Thea realised that this must have sounded extremely rude to Molly's relatives. "I mean, I'm just so busy at the moment." Thea tipped the milk into the pan. "Do you know why?" "Some art appreciation tour or something on Wednesday." "Well, it's my day off on Wednesday, so I can probably go. I'll give her a ring later. Save her the trouble of coming over." It was more to save Thea the trouble of sanitising the kitchen. Ben Jonson might look about him disapprovingly, but at least he kept his thoughts to himself. Molly would be voluble on the subject of Thea's standards of tidiness and hygiene. Petal frowned. "I may have got it wrong, but I'm sure she said something about France." "France?" Thea, whisking hard, was wondering if she'd made enough sauce and wasn't really listening. "Yeah, I think Aunt Molly wants you to go to France with her on Wednesday." Thea put down her whisk, leaving a smear of cheese sauce on the worktop. "Try and think, Petal. What did Molly say? She can't possibly be asking me to go to France with her on Wednesday." "Yes, Molly's mate's broken her leg or her hip or something, so she needs someone to go with. I told her you were probably up for it." Petal, bored with a subject that didn't involve her, turned to her uncle. "Oh, Uncle Ben, I'm glad you've got some tea. It'll take me ages to find the stuff in the attic. It's so full of junk." She looked at the crowded table, the crockery-covered worktops, the Welsh dresser buried under paper. "This house is always so untidy." "So would yours be if it were full of lodgers who couldn't put a mug in the dishwasher, let alone run a tap and wash it," said Thea. "And I hope you're going to take everything off the landing. At least the stuff in the attic is out of sight most of the time." Momentarily abashed, Petal said, "Sorry, Thea, but you don't nag us enough. If you don't nag people, they just don't clear up. When I move into a